Let's talk about simplifying expressions. One of the key things we have to know when we're simplifying expressions is this idea called collecting like terms. So let's do an example. Let's say I have 5x plus x. When I say collect like terms, it means look at terms that are similar and see if we can group them together. So for example, if I have 5x plus x, you can think of it as I have 5 x's here and 1x here. Those are like terms because they both share the same variable. They both share x. So 5x plus 1x is going to equal 6x. And that's all you have to do. Let's look at a more complex example and we'll see if we can simplify this one. So let's say I have 4x squared minus x squared plus x minus 3x plus 2 minus 1. So I've added in a whole bunch of terms, and we're going to apply the same idea. We're going to try to collect all the like terms. So I have a 4x squared and a minus 1x squared. Those are the only two terms here that have an x squared in them. So those two are going to be like terms. So 4 minus 1 is 3, so I have 3x squared. Okay, let's see what's next. I have a plus x minus 3x. So those are the only terms that have just the x. So 1 minus 3 is going to be negative 2x. So I'm just adding or subtracting the coefficients, right? Because there's a 1 in front of this x, so 1 minus 3 is negative 2. Okay, let's see what's next. So I have a plus 2 minus 1. Those are also like terms because they're both constants. They're both numbers that don't have a variable with them. So 2 minus 1 is just 1, of course. Okay, and that is how you collect the like terms and simplify your expression. Let's do another example. Let's say I have 7x plus 11x minus 3x squared plus 2x squared plus 1. So, what do we have? Well, one thing you want to do is when you write out your final answer, you want to write everything from the largest degree to the smallest degree. So if you're looking at these terms, we have to see, okay, which degrees are the largest, right? So for example, I have a 3x squared here, and I have a 2x squared here. Those are the two largest degrees on the variable x. So those two I'm going to group together, and I'm going to put that answer first. So negative 3x squared plus 2x squared, add those together, you're going to get minus 1x squared, or just minus x squared. So I'm going to write that one first because it has the largest degree in the exponent. Okay, what's next? Well, now I have a 7x plus 11x. I can put those together to make 18x, just like that. And then finally, I just have that plus 1 on the end. There's no other constants here. There's no other numbers by themselves that I can add to that, so that's just going to stay the same. So I'll say plus 1. Okay, and that's your final answer. All right, let's do another one. Let's say I have x squared minus x plus 7 minus 2x squared plus 7x minus 1. Okay, so for this one, we want to do the same thing. So let's start with the x squares because it looks like that's the biggest exponent we have on an x value. So I have an x squared here and a minus 2x squared here. So I can put those together and that'll make a negative x squared, right? 1 minus 2 is negative 1. Okay, let's look at the next one. I have a minus x and a plus 7x. Those can go together to make plus 6x, right? 7 minus 1 is 6. And then you can look at your constants, the numbers that don't have a variable with them. You have 7 and minus 1. That's also going to be plus 6. Okay, and that's your final answer. Let's do one more. Let's say I have x squared minus x plus 2x to the 6 plus 3x squared plus 2x minus 4 plus 11 minus x. So we got a whole bunch of terms here. So if we take a look, what does it look like the biggest exponent we have is? I think it's a 6, right? X to the 6, I think that's the biggest exponent we have. So we'll start with those ones. So I have an x to the 6 here, and a plus 2x to the 6 here, and I think those are my only two that have a 6 in the exponent. So we'll add those two together, right? 1 plus 2, you're going to get 3x to the 6. Okay. what's the next biggest exponent we have? I think it's this 2 here, right? And it looks like that's the only one that has a 2 in the exponent. So that plus 3x2 is just going to be all by itself, like that. All right. Next, we have some terms that just have x, like this minus x, this plus 2x, this minus x, right? There's no exponents on those variables. So I can add those three together. So minus x plus 2x minus x. Well, hang on, that's going to all add up to 0x, right? Negative 1 plus 2 minus 1. So we don't even have to write this middle term. We can just get rid of it. We don't have to write that. So these three are all canceling out. You can think of it that way. All right, and now for the constant, I have minus 4 plus 11. Add those together, you're going to get plus 7. And that's your final answer.